Jim, what is up with Henry Davis? The world is asking because he's a first overall pick. He comes through the minors rather quickly, tears up double A, comes up to triple A for a small little sample there, tears it up, reaches the majors, and he just looks like a great ball player. And then he struggles. I know there's an injury. He gets, put in the IL. During his rehab stint though with triple A, like he was crushing it. He was so good these few games in triple A, right? So you just thought, okay, like Henry Davis is back. There's no problems. He's now 0 for 6 with 6 strikeouts. Jim, what are you doing in Louisville? Like, what's up with you people? Why do you all suck?
It's a little bit of a loaded question, don't you think?
What I say yesterday is a bad day for Louisville grads.
Yeah. But it wasn't. I mean, we had a good day yesterday, honestly. Except for Henry Davis. Henry Davis didn't do 2 games back. He first game he went 0 for 3 with 3 strikeouts. Yesterday at one point he was over 3 with 3 strikeouts. He did make contact in his fourth at bat. He flew out. But he's 0 for 7 now.
Oh yeah, my bad. Over 7
with
now.
6 strikeouts since coming back off the IL. I don't know if the hand's still bothering him. I don't know if you can blame that for just a complete lack of contact at the plate. Like you could blame the hand, I think, if it's like you're not making contact, because the hand didn't really seem to be bothering him all that much in AAA. Right? I mean,
Right.
he dominated down there during his rehab stint. Yeah, I mean, it's frustrating to see because you know that like the talent is there. He's clearly shown it throughout the minors. Shooting through each level, got here really fast. He's shown success here too. Like that's the frustrating part is the guy homered twice off of Shohei Ohtani, and then basically ever since that point, he hasn't been able to hit the ball. I don't know.
And he was
He used up all his energy right there, and he can't hit the rest of the year.
right. I was gonna say like his struggles started like right around then too, and then like he had that, and that's the moment you thought, okay, they're put away. Henry Davis is back, and like you said, it got even worse.
Yeah, he was kind of in a nice little stretch there in like mid-July. Hits the 2 homers off Ohtani, and then since then, just can't get anything going. You've got the injury involved. You got the injury in there as well. So he missed. I mean, he missed about a month worth of playing time. I think. I mean, you got to be patient with him, right? Like he's your first overall pick. You're relying on him heavily. He needs to get playing time because he's not going to get better. He's not going to get better in AAA just crushing the ball off of guys he's way better than, right? Like that's not how you that's
Right.
not how you get better. It's not how you adjust. Like he's going to have to face these guys and he's going to have to just learn how to hit. I kind of one thing I always said about Cabrian Hayes, right, was I'm not going to count the guy out because just incredible makeup and good athleticism. Henry Davis, same reasons, right? Like he's a really good athlete. Like he looks bad out there in right field, but he's certainly capable of playing the position. Like it's not a physical limitation of his, right? Like he can do it. It's just a matter of like translating it all to becoming a really good outfielder. But he's got all the tools to be a good right fielder. So he's got all the tools. He's got the athleticism. You've heard all throughout, ever since he was drafted, the makeup. Like the guy works his butt off. He's going to do everything he can to succeed on, when it comes to just himself. So I'm not, if I'm betting on somebody, I'm betting on Henry Davis figuring it out. Like the makeup's too good, the athleticism's too good, the power's too good. He's going to figure out at some point. It's just we don't know how long it's going to take. Just like we didn't know how long it was going to take with Hayes. I don't think it's going to take that as long as it did with Hayes because Davis has shown it, at an earlier age. But yeah, it better not. If it takes Henry Davis 5 years to figure it out, then we're having issues. But no, you got to play him the rest of the year. You got to give him try to get him some at bats during the off season. But they need him. They need him. Like there's no doubt about it. He's got to have a spot next year. I don't know if you hand him a starting spot, but Like he has to. If you're not, then you've got to go out there and get somebody pretty good. But you are relying on Henry Davis to contribute next year.
You kind of need him to, but I guess I mean I'm with you in the same sense. Like I can't say I'm not worried, but if I'm going to bet that he succeeds. Like we've seen too much good stuff from Henry Davis. You know, like of course the numbers show for the minor leagues and such, but like just the eye test, everything. That's the one thing we talked about. Like we came up here, like he just looked every bit the major leaguer. Now, granted, this is something we've talked time and time again about. Like rookies struggle. They do. It's natural. Pretty much every single one does. So allow them to go through the struggles because that's when they're going to learn, right? I'm just kind of at the point where the struggle has been real. It's been a while, and that's why you're a little bit worried. So again, we're talking about Henry Davis, who had like 1,000+ OPS in the minors, right? Like the best hitter in all minor league players at the time that he was there.
Mm.
And right now in the majors, right, and hitting was his calling card because we knew the defense was going to be bad. So he's got to be a hitter, right? And so far, hitting now, he's batting 205, 296, slugging a whopping 326, has a 68 weighted runs created plus. The guy whose calling card is the bat has a 68 weighted runs created plus and a -1 WAR. You can't get that from your number one overall pick. I don't care how good Solometo is, or Bubba Chandler, or Lonnie White Jr., or whomever you want to talk about from that draft. Like, you can't get this. It's okay if he's not going to be a great player, but he can't be this. Now, granted, I don't think he's going to be this, but again, like this is a little worrisome, especially when he goes down the AAA in the rehab and just obliterates it down there, and then immediately comes up to the majors and you see this. Why is the transition so different for Henry Davis? And why is the transition so different for, I feel like, every single rookie? And granted, again, like they're going to struggle. It's part of it. That's why we clamor for them to get up here sooner. So those struggles get out the way sooner. So that way, once June, July, August comes, like they've got those out. They've figured out, Major League Baseball for the most part. But like, how come you look at the Cincinnati Reds and all their rookies come up and just perform? And then you look at the Pirates and all the rookies come up and none of them perform. Elly De La Cruz is definitely having his struggles right now, but like even with Elly De La Cruz, 20 points higher than Henry Davis, a whole 2.4 wins better than Henry Davis.
Yeah.
So like there's still a clear difference, but like every single rookie looks, outside of Peguero, just bad. That's more my worry, is not isolated on Henry Davis. It's why does everyone look so bad?
Yeah, and I don't know. I know you mentioned the Reds, right, as like another team, and I think if you looked around the league, you would see that this is pretty common, right? Like this isn't an anomaly that's happening to Pirates rookies, and I think a lot of it just has to do with, I don't know what's necessarily happened over the last few years, but I feel like the gap between AAA and the majors is like huge right now from a talent standpoint, especially when it comes to pitching. And I think you can look at this, when you look at, say, the International League numbers, which, you throw out the Pacific Coast League because they play in like Mickey Mouse ballparks at
Right.
10,000 feet elevation. Like the numbers in the Pacific Coast League have always been wacky, right?
Yep.
But in the International League this year, like the average hitter has an OPS of 800. The average AAA hitter is OPSing 800. I don't remember that ever happening. And I don't think it's just because all of a sudden AAA hitters have learned how to hit really well. I think it's because AAA pitchers just are the worst that we've seen them. And maybe that's just, when you make that step from AAA to the majors, you're going from seeing guys who should not be major league pitchers, and you go immediately to guys who are major league pitchers. And these are this is just what happens. Like, it just takes a while to figure them out because you've never seen sliders like this. You don't see relievers pumping 99-mile-per-hour cutters in AAA, right? Like, those things don't exist. I think that's a big part of it, because yeah, you look around, there are people struggling. Ellie De La Cruz, like you brought him up, but I'm not going to say he's struggling as bad as Henry Davis, but Ellie De La Cruz is having a rough time in the major leagues right now,
Mhm.
striking out a third of the time. He's not getting on base. He's not hitting.
He's
The only
right now
reason,
having the first part of O'Neil Cruz's 2022 season.
yeah, I mean, Ellie De La Cruz's WAR is so high because he's a really good defender and he's a really good base runner, right? It has nothing to do with his offense so far. The offense has been terrible. So, and you're talking about a guy who was the number one consensus overall prospect in baseball, right? He's
Yeah.
struggling. And Henry Davis obviously was a little bit behind him, but uh, highly ranked. The bat was going to play. Everybody knew it. I really think that's just what it is. I think the jump is just bigger than it's ever been.
That can be fair. That's definitely something we can get into a whole like other conversation for. Um, yeah, I mean it's kind of a loaded gun because I'm disappointed in how much every single rookie has struggled. Like there hasn't really been one guy that come up and just look solid. But granted, as we talk, like, but also like you expect that, and that's why we think it's dumb for everyone to think that you have to coddle these guys because you have to get them up here and they have to play well because otherwise they're going to cry and go home and be baseball players. They're just simply not right. Like this is part of the learning process. Um, but at any rate, yeah, I guess I look at it more towards the macro level, right, and less of like Henry Davis on a micro level, like what's wrong with him. There's a little bit of that, and again, like the 6 strikeouts are concerning. That's concerning, but that's really not part of his game, and I don't think it's going to be. So it just kind of is what it is right now. I would much rather see, like, again, we talk about small sample. Like I would much rather see Henry Davis finish out the season on a positive note. Um, I just, I'm just not sure if we're going to. I thought we might. These
Yeah.
6 strikeouts and 7 at bats tell me maybe not.
Yeah, and like I'm not here to make excuses for Henry Davis. Like he needs to be better. Like he is playing bad baseball right now and he needs to be better. The team needs him to be a good major league hitter. Like plain and simple. They're relying on him to do that. Um because there really is no one else who's like an impact bat that's quote unquote ready, right? And I mean, even if you go further down in the system, I don't know if you find one. Tamar Johnson, but he's far away, right?
Yeah.
Um, there's no one. There's no impact major league talents on the offensive side of the ball in AAA. There's none in AA. Like I said, you've got one. You've got one in high A probably, but like that's it. Like there's not a lot of impact bats left in this system that aren't here. So the guys who are here are going to just have to perform, and Henry Davis is one of them.
That's why the
And
fans are craving Miguel Andujar so bad.
like I get it. Like I understand why fans like see just like glimpses of like talent, and then they kind of attach themselves to it because you're trying to just find anything positive that you can. Like I understand the psychology behind it. Um, you got to look more big picture sometimes. But I mean, Henry Davis has been bad. He's looked bad. He's played bad. He has to be better, like plain and simple.
Yeah, that's it. There's a lot on his plate. I'll give some excuses for him. There is a lot on his plate. He has to apparently learn how to catch still. Also learn how to play right field on the fly. Also learn how to adjust and hit major league pitching. There's a lot more on his plate than normal rookies have. But again, you want and need to see better from this. So I don't know if this is something where it's like, okay, like once the season's over, now you have the whole offseason to do what you need to do, come back with a fresh mind, be better at these other positions because now you've had an offseason to actually learn them because we're going to actually set you up for success this time opposed to failure. Um, so maybe he comes into, into spring, hits his stride, and now we see the Henry Davis that you see. But yeah, at this point in time, it's bad. It looks bad. And I don't have any answers for him other than maybe swing the bat. when you see a good pitch and lay off the bad pitch and learn how to hit off speed a little better. But
I have
that's
nothing
the
to
other too.
say
Like
other
he's
than for him to be a good hitter.
yeah, that's all. But like he has a little bit of mindset, and again, like it's why he has a great eye. Like he sees pitches, but
Mhm.
I don't. Where Jack Sawinski, I'm like swing the damn bat. I'm not worried about Henry's approach as much, but maybe he needs to start swinging the bat a little more. Maybe find that groove.
Maybe. I don't know what the answer is right now, but it's definitely not bench Davis, demote Davis. Like he needs to be playing as much as possible.
Yep, and here, like this is where he needs to learn.
Yeah.
Not go back and play with a bunch of junior high kids and just dominate and take nothing away from it.
Hey, you all, thank you for watching. I know we try to provide the most entertaining content that we can, and we'd love to spread it to as many people as possible. So I know it doesn't seem like a lot, but if you could take the 5 seconds to like this video and subscribe to the page, it helps out so much more than you know. Thank you, and let's go Bucks.